I took a picture of Holder, Eric Holder, no Snowden clemency. I'm not sure that he should have to even be considered because he didn't commit a crime. I think the background checks they're asking, the criminal background checks, what a joke. They're asking for background checks, which can be falsified, by the way, obviously, on the wrong people. You should reverse it back to those asking for it, perhaps. I wrote a book um, back in 77, 78 about mind control. I worked for doctors, and mind control back then was not common knowledge, okay, or it wasn't talked about, let me say that. I know that the Tesla files were stolen, and supposedly, and I believe this, the FBI got them in 43. It talks about the McCarthy hearings, and by the way, Nixon, I believe, was part of that. The FBI federal government became actively involved in suppressing Tesla's scientific papers. Okay, and on down here, they talk about Tesla's numerous inventions could be applied in different ways. Military purposes, for example, partial beam weapons, worldwide radar, earthquake, brainwave manipulation. One of the transmitters, magnifying transmitters, could supposedly send destructive impulses through the earth at any location. So I'll leave that. I wrote about mind control, and I wrote about the doctors that I worked for. One of them had done a heart bypass, and he had put a stent, but a chip in a heart bypass. And you can control a person's, you can modify their behavior, make their decision making not their own. It's the one doing the puppetry or mind control. You can make them do anything without their knowledge. So I was writing about this, and Dr. Larry McDonald, who was a congressman doctor, and later in '83, after I'd written this book about, he was one of the subjects, his plane goes down August 31st of '83. Now, during the time I did the book in '77, '78 in Marietta, Georgia, Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville. The man who shot him, March the 6th of '78, was programmed to shoot him and kill his attorney in Lawrenceville. And it's the synchronicity. It's so, oh, there's no room for error in it. It's straight on. Let me put it that way. That's the best I can do. I mean, it works. Now, I wrote about that, and then a lot happened to me and my sons, and I thought it was retaliation for doing the book. Instead, I found out later on in '83 that I'd been kidnapped from Buckingham Palace, and it's really, I won't go into that. I put it in different videos and Facebook, and the media knew it before me, but I was flown out to Flint's in '83 during that campaign, and for political support, and then I found out about my kidnapping and my real name, and that's why all this has happened. And the book was kind of a, I don't know, part of it later on. Um, so June the 23rd of '79, I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and told that national security was involved. It was an ongoing investigation. It was signed by the U.S. Attorney in Atlanta, William Harper. So then I'm going to complete this. With that letter intact and all that, April Fool Day of '80, I was filled full of antifreeze and should have died, gone to a coma and died. It was a fiasco, and I was illegally transported to Huntsville, Alabama, and later worked for, passed a background check and worked for Madison County District Attorney Fred Simpson. while I was living at Warren House Apartments. There's a point to me telling you the names of Simpson and Warren. So I'm going to leave out all the other, because you can't put it in. I can barely get it on this tape. I want to get into when I couldn't get jobs anymore, and I came to Roanoke in October of 86. You have to have a job to get paid and pay rent and everything. In other words, I was not just a target. From the minute I was kidnapped, I was a hostage, and that's what I still am. And it's been done in plain sight. But when I came here, it was cold. I had no money, no place to stay, and it was really, really bad. So jumping from that, I couldn't get a job. They were shut down. People were afraid of it, and I lived up on the Appalachian Trail, which is really, really rough, and I did the trail, and the rangers were sent up there to run me. It made me look like a bag lady, a nutcase. That's what they tried to make me look like. When I came down, I was run. I couldn't get a place to stay. And I want to just preface this, and I get into another tape, I guess, which I didn't want to. I was delegated to living a couple of nights, and you have to get out at early in the morning to look for a job, which was ridiculous because my jobs were shut down. But I had a book that a friend of mine gave me, a reporter, and I think he's FBI, I'm pretty sure he is, but he gave me a book called Were We Controlled by Lincoln Lawrence, and it's talking about puppetry and under mind control. Now then, it was a thin book, but a woman at the rescue mission, which is a homeless shelter, wanted to read it. I let her read it. There's nothing wrong with it. This whole thing about if you mention mind control, people want to lock you up. So I loaned the book to her, and not long after then, I was taken aside and told that I had to leave. I was banned from the rescue mission, then later banned from the forestry, Appalachian Trail, and the National Forest. So it really, if you did a background check, makes me look like this flake, really the worst, and that's how I've been treated, like the worst criminal that ever walked the face of this planet. But later on, the U.S. Marshals take me back there, and I've left out that big problem there where they actually drove me in a car that it was black sedan, nice. It wasn't a limo, but you got 4 U.S. Marshals in there, and you have to laugh. It's so crazy. It's so painful you'd scream. They take me back to the rescue mission where I had been banned for telling the truth, and this kind of hell goes on. And then what I want to get to, and I'm sure this is going to go out, not only were my jobs controlled, except I got a few live-ins, and could buy some camping gear there, and then it was soaked with chemicals, and that's the part I want to get to. I am allergic to chemicals, and my immune system attacks itself. Now, that may sound simple, but it could kill me. It's made my life a living hell when it's been deliberately used on me, and it has. I've been soaked in it. At this point, it causes inflammation, and it tears down your organs over time, your liver, your lungs. I've had to inhale stuff that would kill anybody, and over long periods of time. And polyurethane and varnishes and glues that you put up wallpaper, and some household just really tear me apart. And the very medicine I take for the inflammation tears my kidneys up. So my organs, and I'm 75 years old, I can hardly walk from it or get around. It's torn my organs apart. And I've told it, the media knows about the mind control murders. They knew about my kidnapping long before I did. So I want to get to what was used against me. When I did get a little bit of money, I was taken, well, I was not told about this. A person who, I'm going to go ahead and say it, this probably won't go up, because they have power that reaches way